If you go back to most of your favourite childhood movies, there'll likely be an adult joke or two thrown in there that you totally missed as a kid. We've covered this countless times to hilarious effect before over on WhatCulture Main, plug, but video games are a slightly different beast. Parents aren't usually involved in watching like they might be with movies, and they're longer and richer, but that doesn't mean they don't also have their fair share of sneaky adult jokes. Some are hidden better than my stash of Office hairspray, while others are as brazenly filthy as, well, as a Jules Gill script. Still, each one isn't obvious at first glance, and after you realise what's really going on, you won't be able to look at any of them in the same way ever again. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game moments everyone misunderstood as kids. Number 10. PRIMEAPE masters Iron Tail despite not having a tail. POKÉPARK Wii. POKÉPARK Wii is one of the least appreciated Pokemon spin-off games, largely because it doesn't really utilize the Wii's motion control, doesn't link to any mainline games, and, well, just look at the state of it. POKÉPARK Wii sees you control Pikachu running around various zones and making friends with Pokemon. It's very simplistic, but that's not necessarily bad. Most Pokemon either just want to play hide and seek, have a run, or eat some berries. They're living their best life, you know. One of the Pokemon featured is PRIMEAPE, however, who brags that he's mastered Iron Tail despite not even having a tail. The implication being then that his Iron Tail is in fact his knob. Yeah, it's just his penis, you know, that's the joke. It's a little clumsily told in the game and can be easily explained away if you think hard enough, but it's an adult joke many missed nonetheless. It raises that old debate about the nonsense of Pokemon moves too. Some are mistranslations, others have metaphorical descriptions rather than literal, and some are about big whoppers. Number 9. Sexual Healing. The Legend of Zelda 2, Adventures of Link. This isn't actually the only time a helpful prostitute pops up on this list, but it certainly is the subtler of the two examples. In The Legend of Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, healing is performed by a mysterious woman in red. These ladies in scarlet dresses take you into their huts, and when you come out, you're healed, good as new, spick and spam. Of course, plenty of games feature bed resting as an instant healing mechanic, but there could be something else going on here. Something shagging related. The question is then, is Link getting some sexual healing? You know, a bit of the old in-out, the old horizontal jogging, a good old-fashioned roll in the hair. It might be a bit of a jump to assume that's what's happening, but come on, that's exactly what's happening, isn't it? A rather adventurous Link indeed. Number 8, the penis map, Banjo-Tooie. Look, there isn't much to say about this one. It's a map that looks like a penis. Like a dick. That's all, folks. You've got nothing else. Alright, I'll hang around in case you want to argue that it's just a coincidence that this map looks exactly like a penis, but just take a look at those little islands shooting off from the long tip. Are those little, spurts of land just a coincidence too? Banjo-Tooie were taking no chances that you wouldn't notice what they were up to. Mario Kart had a slightly more subtle version of this gag as well in Double Dash and then again on the Wii version. On the Peach Beach level, there's a pink rock for you to dive under. It has a pink boulder either side of a shaft on the right, and even has a little bell-shaped curve at the other end. And it just casually flops over the track, going about its day. Number 7. Most of the Ratchet and Clank games' names. These are perhaps the most obvious jokes on this list, and some of the older kids playing might have picked up on these as they're nowhere near as subtle as the others, but those who were younger or just more naive would have had these innuendos fly straight over their innocent heads. Up your arsenal, going commando, quest for booty, full frontal assault, size matters, and arguably even a crack in time and tools for destruction all have slightly risque names. Going Commando, one of the gentler gags on there, even had to have its name changed for the European release to Locked and Loaded, while Up Your Arsenal was simply renamed 3. Yeah, very, very lame. The jokes are right in line with Ratchet and Clank's style of humor, but the games themselves were fuzzy, kid-friendly fun. With weapons that distracted their opponents into dancing or turned them into pixelated sprites, the game definitely showcased creativity. The only other real adult moment in the franchise comes in the second game, where one of the alien women's breasts will grow each time you jump around in front of her. Not good. Number 6. DAXTER'S crude joke, Jack 3. Seeing as this one comes in a cutscene, it's more akin to the adult jokes you sometimes find hidden in Disney movies. Pixar's Ratatouille, for example, serves up a classic in this regard. When Linguini tells Colette about his tiny little problem, he dwells on the adjectives too long for her liking, and she glances down at his crotch. Daxter's jab at Jack's expense in Jak 3 is pretty similar to this. As a kid, you kind of know there's a joke there, but you've got no real idea about what it is. When one of the NPCs asks Jack, "Want to try and beat my high score?" Daxter answers for him, saying, "Oh, don't worry, Jack beats things all the time, eh, Jack?" earning him a quick slap to the back of the head. Daxter always had a funky sense of humor, as did the games on the whole, so it's easy to imagine him pulling off, oi oi again, a quick masturbation joke when he can. Number 5. Candy the Call Girl, Donkey Kong 64. How much this exactly qualifies as a joke you'd missed as a kid is up for debate, but it's more like you'd miss all of the references to fully appreciate it. As Donkey Kong enters Candy's music shop, some very bow chicka wow wow jazz music, my favourite subgenre of jazz by the way, plays as the camera pans up her and she struts towards you. She then tells you that Candy's gonna make you feel real good and asks if you want her melons. That's the giveaway right there. She's in a music shop, they don't even sell fruit! There's a coquettish little giggle when she finishes speaking, and then she invites you to step a little bit closer so she can show you how to use your instrument. It's like the concept meeting for this started with Sexy Gorilla, and then once they picked the name Candy, everything snowballed, and we ended up with this. Rewatching this scene as an adult, it's hard to comprehend that you had absolutely no idea what was being implied when you were a kid. Ignorance is bliss, I guess. Number 4. Peeping Tom, Mega Man Legends 2. Most of these entries are funny in a childish sort of way, which is a bit ironic considering that most children would miss them, but this one is just a bit creepy. At one point in Mega Man Legends 2, you come to a closed door and naturally you venture inside. The only problem is that Roll is actually in the bath next door. Though all the player sees is Mega Man enter and then quickly leave, our hero definitely didn't expect to see what he actually saw as he blushes afterwards. And yeah, you know, that's fine, we've all accidentally walked in on someone in an uncomfortable position, admittedly some more than others, Rich Hudson, but instead of just blushing and forgetting about it, Mega Man actually raises his fist triumphantly in the air, celebrating his creepy, pervy deed. Considering you see nothing, it's certainly less crude than most entries here. However, it's so deliberately obscene that it demands to be included. You get the impression it was made exactly for lists like this, in which case, good job guys. Number 3. The LSD Trip, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Taking a break from the sex jokes before we get to our number 1, it's no secret that more people have probably heard about Dark Side of the Moon being the perfect companion to LSD than they have actually listened to the album. The combination of the two is the stuff of legend, but it's not got a patch on the touch fuzzy get dizzy level in Super Mario World 2. If Yoshi eats one of the fuzzies, the whole screen starts wobbling, colors change on a whim, and objects start phasing in and out of reality. Yoshi himself looks out of his mind most of the time anyway, but it's particularly pronounced once he chows down on one of these bloated-looking wrong'uns. When you're young, it just looks like a cool, funky visual effect designed to throw you off balance, but once you get a little bit older, you realize the developers totally put an acid trip in this game designed for kids. Even better, apparently in the German edition of the game, the level went under the name Lustiges Sporen Drama, which, once you stop laughing at my terrible pronunciation, abbreviates to LSD. Those cheeky scamps. Number 2. CORTEX'S mother, the stripper, Crash Twinsanity. Crash Twinsanity was a departure from Crash's usual tone and started the series on a rocky road that led the Bandicoot into obscurity. While Twinsanity can be viewed as the beginning of the decline though, in isolation it's actually a decent enough game with a unique sense of humour. It feels a bit like Jak and Daxter put in a blender with Ed, Edd and Eddy, with Ratchet and Clank sprinkled in and even a dash of SpongeBob to top it all off. Some of the jokes did indeed flop hard, but the ones that landed were surprisingly good for a series with a usually silent protagonist. The best and by far most adult gag though concerns CORTEX'S mum. During one cutscene, he accidentally rolls through a strip club, apologising to the ladies he bumps into. Though the camera does pan up to the sign rather than follow him inside, it's an adult enough joke to land on this list anyway, but the thing which knocks it up to second place is CORTEX'S surprise mother when he realises Mommy Dearest is dancing inside. Number 1. Nintendo's hidden sex toys. This one tops the list not simply because of how oddly crude it is, but because it crops up not only in one game, but two. Geez, for such a family-friendly company, Nintendo sure do love their sex gags. Although many games encourage you to explore everywhere you can, neither Birdo or Princess Peach will thank you for it. In Super Mario RPG, Mario finds something hidden in Peach's room, drawing her ire as she shouts at him for snooping around. We never see what it is, but there's only so many embarrassing things you'd keep by your bed. A Westlife poster maybe? A Tamagotchi collection? This was 1996 after all. For Birdo, on the other hand, it's a fairly familiar story, just a little bit more graphic. In Captain Rainbow, you enter Birdo's room and see her pillow vibrating. If you lift it, the item is censored. It's left ambiguous, but, well, it's definitely not a vibrating Westlife poster, is it? So that's our list. I don't know what you guys think down in the comments below. I had so much childish fun doing this one, you have no idea. And while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't know, I've been Josh, you've been watching WhatCulture, and I'll see you soon. Bye.